English Leap Podcast.
From Speak English with Class.
Hey, English learners. Welcome back to the English Leap Podcast, your go-to English podcast to learn English step by step in a simple and fun way. I'm Erin.
And I'm Evan. Erin, I have a question for you. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, that's easy. I wanted to be an astronaut. I imagined myself flying in space, wearing a big white suit, waving at the Earth. What about you, Evan?
An astronaut? That's amazing.
For me, I wanted to be a football player. I thought I'd score the winning goal in a big stadium with thousands of people cheering.
That sounds exciting. Did you actually play football when you were young?
Oh yes, every weekend. But the only stadium I saw was the school playground. And the only cheerleaders were my two friends shouting, "Pass the ball, Evan."
I know that feeling. My space training was just jumping on the bed and pretending it was the moon.
See, learners? Dreams start small, but they make life exciting. And even if we don't become astronauts or football stars, those dreams push us to grow.
Exactly. And that's why today's challenge is about dreams and goals. We'll test your English at 4 levels: B1, B2, C1, and C2.
Here's how it works. The sentences will start simple and clear. Then, step by step, they'll get longer, deeper, and more challenging.
Your job is to follow along. Stop when it feels too hard. And that's your level.
And here's something special. We've prepared a PDF transcript of this episode. You'll find it in the description.
Yes. Use it to read along, highlight new words, and shadow the sentences at your own pace. That way, you're not just listening. You're already practicing 3 skills: listening, reading, and speaking.
But wait. What about writing?
Good question. That's where the comments come in. When you share your thoughts, write your level, or tell us your story, you're practicing your writing too.
Exactly. So, with this one episode, you can practice all 4 skills: listening, reading, speaking, and writing.
And before we jump in, many of you have been asking us to add episodes on grammar. We love that idea, but we want to hear from you. What grammar should we cover first?
Yes, maybe tenses, conditionals, prepositions, or anything else that confuses you. Tell us in the comments, and while you're there, also let us know what other topics you'd like us to cover. This way, you're transferring your thoughts into the comment box and practicing your English at the same time.
Perfect. So grab your coffee, relax, and let's begin this new challenge together. Welcome to Test Your English Level, Dreams and Goals.
All right, learners, you are now entering Level 1, B1 English. This is the easy beginning. Short, simple, and clear.
So, Evan, besides football, do you have another dream?
Yes, a very simple one. I dream of living by the sea. I imagine waking up early, walking barefoot on the sand, and hearing the sound of the waves every morning. Just thinking about it makes me feel calm.
That sounds so peaceful. For me, one of my dreams is to open a small bookstore. I can picture it in my head. Shelves full of books, a little coffee corner, soft music playing, and people sitting, reading, and smiling.
That's a lovely dream.
And I have another dream too. I want to be the author of a best-selling book. I imagine myself sitting at a wooden desk, typing late at night, and then one day holding my book in my hands. I even dream of seeing people reading it on the train or in a cafe. That picture in my head makes me so excited.
Wow, that's a big dream. But what's your small goal for that?
My goal is to read every evening, even if it's just for 15 minutes.
But Erin, how does reading books every night help you with your dream of a bookstore and also of being an author?
Good question. Well, If I read a lot of books, I learn about different authors, styles, and kinds of stories. I also see what people enjoy reading. That will help me choose books for my store. Reading builds discipline too. If I can keep this small habit, I know I can handle the bigger work of writing. And most of all, reading keeps my love for books alive. And that love is the heart of both my dreams: the bookstore and the book I want to write.
Ah, now I see. So even a small goal like reading every night is not just practice. It's training for your dreams.
Exactly. Dreams are like the big sky, and goals are the small steps that carry you closer, one by one.
And for me, with my dream of living by the sea, my goal is simple: save a little money each month. Right now, I can't move to the beach, but I can visit sometimes, maybe for a weekend. Each trip makes me feel closer to that dream. And saving money is like building a bridge. Every coin, every dollar is one more piece of that bridge that leads me to the sea.
That's beautiful. And learners, this is the heart of Level 1. Share your dream and think of one small goal that moves you closer.
Now, take a second to feel it. Imagine the happiness you'd have if that dream came true. Hold on to that feeling, because that's your motivation.
Wonderful. If you followed along and connected with the idea, congratulations. You've completed Level 1, B1 English.
But don't relax just yet, because we're moving into Level 2, B2 English.
Learners, welcome to B2 level. Here, the sentences are longer, the vocabulary is stronger, and you'll hear idioms and expressions that make English sound more natural. This is where the challenge truly begins.
Right? Because, you know what? Starting a goal is easy, but sticking to it, that's where most people struggle. In fact, the biggest enemy of any dream is not failure. It's procrastination.
Yes, I know it very well. With my dream of writing a best-selling book, I often postpone my writing. I say, I'll do it tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. That's procrastination. And you know the saying, procrastination is the thief of time.
Yeah. For me, it's not just procrastination. It's also distraction and temptation. I want to save money for my dream of living by the sea. But then, I see a new phone or I feel like eating out, and suddenly my savings disappear. And honestly, it's true what they say. Old habits die hard.
So true. It's easy to fall back into comfort.
That's why deadlines are so important. Without a deadline, a dream is just a cloud. It floats around with no direction. But with a deadline, it becomes something tangible, something you can measure.
That's right. For example, I've promised myself, by the end of this year, I will finish 30 pages of my draft. Not the whole book, but 30 pages. It's realistic and it keeps me moving.
And I told myself, by December, I must save enough money for 2 seaside trips. That deadline creates pressure, and pressure pushes me to act.
You know, they say, a goal without a plan is just a wish. And it's true. Small, specific goals are like building blocks. One by one, they add up to something bigger.
Right. Dreams are like mountains. If you stare only at the peak, it feels impossible. But if you take one step at a time, with consistency, you'll eventually reach the summit.
So learners, think about your own dream. What distracts you? What tempts you? And what deadline could help you stay committed?
And hey, if you're still listening and following us, that means you've made it all the way to this level, B2 English.
Congratulations. That's not easy. Give yourself some credit. You pushed through longer sentences, harder words, and even some tricky idioms.
Yes, give yourself credit for reaching this point. You're building not only your English, but also your patience and consistency.
And remember, every time you survive a level, you're proving to yourself that your dream of English fluency is possible.
So true. Now, learners, if you've made it this far, you've just entered Level 3, C1 English. This is where the sentences become denser, the vocabulary more demanding, and, the ideas more profound.
That's right. At this level, we confront not just dreams and goals, but the adversity that threatens them. Because, honestly, sooner or later, every plan collides with failure.
Yeah, I've felt it myself. I spent months saving, determined to spend my summer by the sea. And then, suddenly, my car collapsed. And, well, every bit of my savings was dismantled by repair costs. The entire course of my plan was just destroyed.
I totally understand. When I submitted my first book draft to a publisher, I received a harsh rejection. I was really disheartened, almost convinced that my dream of becoming an author was unattainable. At that moment, I thought I'd hit rock bottom.
Yet failure, though brutal, can actually be indispensable. There's an old saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Adversity, forges fortitude, the strength to endure difficulties without surrender.
Exactly. And sometimes, we are just forced to bite the bullet, to face difficulty with relentless courage. That experience, painful as it is, becomes kind of transformative.
And occasionally, failure even allows you to turn the tables. My broken trip forced me to rethink my finances. Strangely, I ended up finding smarter ways to save money, methods that are now permanent habits.
My rejection, too, became redemption. It compelled me to rewrite, to refine, to persevere. The second draft was sharper, more authentic. Without that setback, I would never have reached it. Truly, the darkest hour is just before the dawn.
So, learners, reflect for a moment. Think of an obstacle that dismantled your plans. Did it weaken you permanently? Or did it, maybe, eventually strengthen your resolve?
That is the essence of C1 English, not only understanding sophisticated vocabulary, but also grappling with deeper truths. That perseverance through failure is, honestly, transformative.
Well done. If you survived this, you've conquered Level 3, C1 English.
You've just handled demanding vocabulary, layered idioms, and long reflective sentences. That takes perseverance and grit.
But the final challenge is still ahead. In Level 4, C2 English, we'll step into philosophy itself, asking what true success really means.
Now we've reached the toughest stage. And, honestly, this is where English really stretches you. Not only with advanced vocabulary, but with existential ideas that test the way you think.
So, learners, are you ready to push your mind to its limits?
Then let's begin. At this level, we don't simply ask how to reach a dream. We ask why. Why do human beings chase goals? Why do we tie our identity to achievements? These are, deeper questions. Questions that strike at the heart of the matter.
Exactly. Because success, in the conventional sense, money, prestige, possessions, is in truth ephemeral. It glitters for a moment and then dissolves. You can't take it with you. And if that is the sole pursuit, it risks becoming nothing more than a hollow victory.
Yes. Real success might not be measured by trophies at all, but by authenticity, by whether your life aligns with your deepest values. In other words, true achievement lies not in what you accumulate, but in what you embody.
There's almost a paradox here. People exhaust themselves chasing shadows, the applause, the recognition. Yet, in the end, The true victory may be something quieter, inner peace, or the enduring legacy of kindness they leave behind.
I mean, think about it. A person may construct an empire, but if the empire leaves them hollow, was that genuine success? Or is it the teacher who, day after day, shapes the minds and hearts of hundreds of students? Which is more profound, more enduring?
That's real food for thought. Because, honestly, at this level, we're not just speaking English. We're exploring philosophy. Success becomes less about climbing ladders of ambition and more about asking, what is the essence of a meaningful life?
And maybe the answer is transcendence, moving beyond superficial measures, beyond ego, beyond fleeting applause, toward a life that carries purpose.
Learners, pause and reflect. When you think about your own dreams, are you constructing something enduring and authentic? Or are you simply chasing shadows?
That's the challenge of C2 English. Not just to comprehend advanced vocabulary, but to grapple with ideas so abstract that they force you to reconsider your own paradigm of success.
And if you've made it this far, learners, congratulations. You've survived all 4 levels, B1, B2, C1, and now C2. That's no small achievement.
Yes, give yourself credit. You've not only stretched your English, but also your thinking. You've practiced listening, speaking, reading, and even reflecting deeply.
And remember, we've prepared a PDF transcript for you. Use it to review the vocabulary, highlight the idioms, and shadow the sentences at your own pace.
And while you're at it, take a moment to reflect in writing. What did you learn about dreams, goals, or success today? Writing it down will make the learning stick.
Thank you for joining us in this challenge. We hope it pushed you, inspired you, and maybe even changed the way you look at your own goals.
Until next time, keep learning, keep dreaming, and keep building your own path.
See you in the next episode of the English Leap podcast.
Your progress doesn't end here. To continue advancing your English skills, click on the next video or explore the additional videos we've thoughtfully selected for you.